Chris Rock gets slapped, I mean, on a movie, he gonna say something like that. Wow, I just got a comedic response is what I mean, right? That's Chris Rock. He's a comedian by trade. But I'm
Right.
talking about real life stuff by when you get slapped, right? The comedy goes out the door, right? Comedy, all of that stuff. So that's where I'm on the side of him not being slapped. But then on the other side, when I saw Jada's response was genuine, right? It was. You can tell she was embarrassed, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was genuine. So that wasn't faked, right? Um, it was a sling slap with him made very quickly. I'm saying if I slap you, it's gonna sting to the point where you're gonna have to tell me something about that slap. It's not gonna be a comedic response, right? It's gonna be like, man, why did you do that? What's wrong with you? It was a joke. I mean, like he did say that, but the way he said it just left me a little dry, right? It didn't feel
I
authentic.
I could see both sides, you know, but
Yeah.
to me, like I said, sometimes you could be, especially you're a pro, you know, you a aged pro, you know, you're almost 60 years old, Chris Rock, or whatnot, you know, being able to just be on alert for somebody trying to trick you out of your bag. I could see him just, you know what I mean? And then what they say, always keep the show moving. Always keep the
Keep the
show
show on the
going,
road. Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's the one thing that kind of pulled me to say it wasn't staged is because the audience's response. If you look at what's her name, Lupita,
Lupita.
Lupita's
Lupita.
response
They
was
didn't they were like, was it what was that a skit, or was that they
right.
were
That's
all
what I'm
kind of like they
saying.
was in
Right?
between, they
Yeah,
didn't know.
yeah.
And then
That's
when they
ex-
seen Will come back and start yelling from the seats, then they was like, oh no, he wasn't playing. So then they
like
about to lose the crowd, and then that's when Chris Rock come in and crack a joke to ease the tension in the room.
yeah,
I could
that
see both sides.
yeah.
If it was staged, the way that I see it is Chris Rock offering it up to Will Smith. Hey man,
Hmm.
everybody ragging on you
Hmm.
or whatnot. This what I'm gonna do or whatnot.
Yeah,
That's the scenario where I see it could happen. But
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Chris Rock. I mean, I guess we could go over that a little bit too
Well,
or
let's look at this
whatnot.
chart for a brief second because we would think
Yeah,
we've kind of touched upon their interaction, and it is very
the
strong
build up.
and exactly the build up. But
Right.
Chris is kind of the linchpin here. He's the kind of intersecting energy. He's the Badakstana, right? Right of the two, right? Um, so we got Pisces ascendant with Chris, and I could see Chris being Pisces. But it's funny. His build
He got all
is
girls.
yeah, he does. You're right. Bingo, bingo, bongo. Yep, Pisces ascendant. He's just so thin, and I don't meet very many Pisces that are thin. Not many, but then he does have Jupiter in the second
And
house
Aries.
in Aries, which would thin him up, and then Saturn does aspect the ascendant Lord as well. So that definitely can reduce his body weight.
And Mars
Um,
is an aspect in the ascendant.
it can make it thin. Yeah, it can make it more wiry or more. I don't want to say muscular because he's not muscular. But it definitely can add the heat index to his metabolism. Sure, sure.
Mm.
Um, and again, the time is a little Jeffy. Um,
Yeah, it's probably
here's
not
here
10 on the dot.
here's the thing. Here's the crazy thing. If we nudge that time, I'm just hold on. Let me see something. If we nudge that time, because it's a very 10 o'clock is not his birth time. I'm pretty sure of it, right? If we nudge that time, let's just say 10 minutes, 11 minutes. 11 minutes, he's gonna be Aries ascendant.
Mm-hmm.
11 minutes, he's Aries. I don't see Chris as Aries as well. But the thing about it, Moon and Jupiter are in would be in the ascendant. So it wouldn't surprise me, folks, if he's Aries. I'm just kind of playing around with it because at 10:11 it puts it right into Aries. So 11 minutes difference would definitely nudge it over.
That's why
So
that time is so important, folks.
you gotta have the right time or it doesn't congeal right, right?
Right.
Um, so the fact that he's got all girls is a good point, right? Very strong point, and that definitely will happen with Pisces. So we'll leave him as Pisces. I may rectify it throughout the year, and we may come back to it and actually have a real live talk about his exact ascendant degree. But that takes a little while, right? Rectification is not an easy process, people.
Right.
Um, but putting him back in, putting him back at 10 o'clock. Interestingly enough, he would still be in Rahu Dasha either way, right? Rahu is either way. Now, Rahu in his chart is also in the third house, like Jada. Of course, completely different scenario, but it is in the third house. So, doing some risque things wouldn't surprise me. Doing things that might be out of the box or unprecedented wouldn't surprise me. Um, the thing is that, Rahu for him is in Taurus. And so Rahu in Taurus doesn't like to take a whole lot of chances, believe it or not, right? There's a very
Mm-hmm.
stabilized Rahu. And say it's exalted. I don't teach that there's an exaltation, debilitation to Rahu or Ketu. It's part of the Lord of Rahu or Ketu that you look at. So that's not what I teach, right? You may hear that in common Vedic astrology vernacular, because, and let me tell you why we know it's not true. In the systems that we use, especially Parshars, Light, and the other systems that I use, it gives you a chance. It gives you the option to change the exaltation.
Mm-hmm.
You can change it to Gemini as well, right? Some people say Gemini is the exaltation for Rahu, right? I say they don't have one. I say the ascendant, the Lord of Rahu or Ketu provides the litmus test for their positioning. Because you can have Rahu in Scorpio and it can be very powerful. You can have Rahu in Taurus and it can be very much stable or safety zone or materialistic. Let's just say that, right? But nonetheless, many's conjecture would be stabilized in Taurus. So Rahu is leaving there. It's gonna leave there as of the 13th of this month per the mean node, not the true node per the mean node. So Rahu being
You,
there, little
I
risque
think
behavior,
it could be I think it's a cultural view of Rahu that
it
would make
is. It
you push it,
absolutely is.
make you
Yeah.
view it Taurus as the
Yeah.
yeah, especially with those. It's like it depends on what Rahu's role is in that
Mhm.
era.
Sure. And here's the thing though, Parashara does say that Scorpio is Rahu's Mula Trikona because they're both serpents.
Mm-hmm.
It just means sometimes Rahu is too much in Scorpio. That's what they're really saying to you. It's too
Mm-hmm.
much, right? It's too mas, right? So, considering, right? Because K2 and Taurus will nullify a lot of those desires for material wealth. And that's what spiritually speaking you're supposed to want, right? Is to deny, materialism for spirituality. So again, it's just you got to kind of play with it and go through. And the houses also make a big difference. Nakshatras make a big difference. Aspects make a big difference. Like I said, the Lord, which is the karmic distributor for Chris Rock, karmic distributor is Venus and it's in Capricorn, which is a very strong Rahu, right?
Right.
Because it's in a friend sign, right? And it's in a very strong house, which is the 11th house. And Venus is not even combust. So it's very strong, right? In the consideration of where it is. It's in Uttara Shada. That's also a very stalwart nakshatra. Um, gives that Rahu the ability to stay grounded and focused towards the end. So his Rahu is not damaged in the least. But at the same time, right, he's Pisces ascendant according to this time. And Pisces ascendants can be they can be humorous. That's why I think where he gets his humor from, if this is his time. Um, but the ascendant Lord is in the second house of Aries, and I I'm looking at it when I'm looking at this. You know, he does have a Gajikasari yoga, right, which is
Mm-hmm.
very strong. Um, but again, right, you know, Mars is in the seventh house. I don't know how many. I don't know how many times. I don't know how many wives he's had. I don't think Chris Rock has been married more, but one time. I don't know.
No, he's
But I
divorced.
is he divorced?
Uh,
Okay, then that would
he's
make
divorced
sense.
now. He's getting man that he got hit hardcore with the alimony.
But that was his only wife, though, wasn't it?
Let me look it up real quick. Yep, that's his only wife. I lost you for a second, brother.
I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
So, Mars is in the seventh house. I could see that happening right now during Rahu. Rahu aspects the seventh house. So I can see that happening, definitely, considering especially what's transiting and what's on the horizon. So it all makes sense. But the thing about it is just for the moment's sake, because I don't want to get too far off into Chris's chart, but for the
Mm-hmm.
sake of the moment, right? Look at what's transiting, right? Jupiter is in the 12th house, right? Venus is in the 12th house. So I'm sorry, no, Venus is in the
11.
11th
Yeah,
house,
11.
excuse me, 11th house. Again, and this is all conjunct his natal Venus and natal Mercury. So, you know, that's why it's hard to say. You know, it's very difficult to say as to what really happened. But I can tell you this much, right? With regards to where Mercury is, right? It is an ascendant, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that would definitely present the option to make a crass joke, right? You know, to say something that you know, you probably you could have left that one alone, Chris. You know, you dropped a bomb on her when she was really at her, not to say at her lowest, but at a low point. You know what I mean? For her, because she's always been the apple of men's eye. You know, and for a woman to get plastic surgery tells you that she doesn't have comfort fully with herself. A woman that gets plastic surgery tells me that it's something about yourself that you didn't like,
Right.
whatever it is. You know, of course, there's corrective plastic surgery. That's a little different when you have a car accident, or you know you've been in a fire, or something has happened to you to create a physical deformity. Corrective surgery is that's what you know. To me, that's plastic surgery is what it's supposed to do. But when you're nothing's wrong with you, like Lil Kim, for example, like
Yeesh. I
like
don't know why she did that. That's. I
she
mean,
was
she went. She
beautiful
went.
back in the day. She, Lil Kim was the you know she was cute, she was sexy. Now who you see her walking down the street, and you saw them walking down the old Lil Kim and the new Lil Kim walking down the street, you wouldn't even think they're the same person. I mean, that's self. Something's going on inside of your mind. It'd be interesting to pull Lil Kim's chart too, right? We might have to do her. We might
I'll
have to do
look
a
it up and see.
plastic surgery type piece, right?
Right.
Because there's
Right.
something going on with that ascendant eighth house connection, right? Usually, right? Um, so just interesting to have her do that to herself. And it shows that a person doesn't like completely who they are, how they look. So for her to do that tells me that if she loses her hair, That would also be another kind of kick in the same direction. You know what I mean? That
Mm-hmm.
would be kind of that same energy just smashed, right, in the same way. So when him for him to make that crass Mercury debilitated joke, right, where he has no feeling, fourth lord debilitated in the ascendant, right, or his feelings are kind of off or mis misplaced, yeah, it would make sense for him to say something like that when Mercury's pushing the button. You know what I mean? Mercury's making this the hey, uh, GI Jane type. You know, like really, like okay, you know. So
I forgot about that movie. I forgot about
right, like
G.I.
where'd
Jane.
that come from, right?
He pulled that out.
And for a second, because I had forgot about her alopecia, I said, "Oh, she's gonna be the new GI." You know, being goofy, she'd be the new GI. I said, "Oh, ain't no new GI Jane. There ain't no new movie."
He should he should have said Black Panther or something, you know?
Right, right. Like, oh, you gonna be the new black, something, right? But
Like one of
yeah,
the whatchamacallit, the Warriors, the girls.
right, right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that was a pretty low blow, man. Right, and I'm sure he knows it. Everyone in Hollywood in the inner circle, they know, what's what, you know.
Right.
Um, so for him to say it, Mercury in the ascendant makes sense. Makes you always want to see what someone's motivations are to do something, and that motivation would definitely be Mercury right there. You know, hey, say this, right? Or this will be a great, segue into the award, type
Right.
deal, because Mercury is the inner voice. It's that voice that says it's the inner voice that becomes the outer voice. And it's like, did you really say that? It's in the 12th house from the moon, right? So that means that he didn't really, right, care or really didn't have he was just detached from the statement, emotionally speaking, right? Right. Emotionally speaking. I'm sure he might have said he loved her, right? But at the moment, right, and he even said it, that was a good one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. You know, um, Mercury was in opposition to Mars, right? Which is quick thinking, right? Quick statements, and he did say that he planned all his jokes. See, this is what I'm saying. He said he planned all his jokes prior to, and he doesn't let anybody see them, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, where were you going with that one? Like, what did you expect the response to be? And I think he didn't. If it is real, right? He didn't expect Will to get up and say nothing because Will's been looked at as a simp. You know, you know, you let this woman tell darn near everything about your private life on Red Table Talk. So what you gonna do, right? Well, if it was real, he definitely got a response. It was unexpected. But the thing of it is this, and this is why if you look at it very carefully, actors are very crafty, right? They're very um, adept in being able to make something look real.
Right.
Um, and they're both old heads in the game. I am pretty sure I think Chris Rock has been slapped a couple times on screen, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm pretty sure Will has slapped a few people, right? So, you know,
Willis slapped somebody else in real life about something. When the dude
he
tried to
popped him. He popped him. Yeah, he popped him.
yeah,
Tried to
real
kiss him.
quick.
Yeah, yeah, he
Yeah.
popped him. Now see that was a pop. That's what see that's the point I'm making to you. That was a pop. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
hey man, what's wrong with you? And the dude, right, kind of reeled back a little bit. How to, okay, I thought I heard you were gay or homosexual, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he made a gesture according to what he probably thought. Who knows, right? But the thing is, that was a pop. This was supposed to be a slap, right? And for him to pow and him not to eyeball go this way, mouth something, right?
See, I don't
Spit
think he got a
fly.
good connection. I don't think he made a good connection.
What is wrong with Will's hands? Because he was leaning Chris Rock wasn't. See, it'd be different if he Chris like had like jarred back and then he like made me missed and then scuffed him. No, Will was completely the opposite. He was into the camp. He was leaning into, and I'm like, that's the scenario was odd, right? It's just odd. It's hard to tell either way, but for the most part, I think even if it wasn't necessarily 100% genuine, and maybe Will might have just let him know in a way of saying, I won't pop you, but I will swing at you, that could have happened, right? That, hey, like, I'm not going to hit you, but I will cuff you, right? And dude, don't play with my wife because she's over here. She did have that. Her response was real. Of all the
Right.
responses of everything, hers was genuine because she did feel genuinely humiliated, right? So, it's hard to say. It's one of those you have to toss a coin, see, okay, which what really happened. But all of
Well,
the
either way, I don't think Will. I mean, it wasn't. I don't think he felt the same way about it that she did. So
no, not
even
at
him
all.
going up there
No,
doing that was just for the for just to try
for
to
the gram, for the
yeah,
gram. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was for the
you know
gram. Yeah,
right.
but you better than me, man. Because the red table talk, I'd have been like, oh, you cold with it, right? Red table talking, right? Take it to the red table, right? Tell you how it felt, made you because I mean, for all intents and purposes, that's what she does. She spills her heart out on this red table. So, you know, she could have told and said, Chris Rock made me feel less than human and whatever the case is. I don't know. Right. But Will, you definitely got a two-sided view here, man. You got a simpish view and you got a superhero view and off screen. So, a lot of women have said that that's what a man should do, right? Men too. I've heard some men say that too. That men, that's how you defend your woman's honor. Yeah, true, right?
Yeah,
Again,
on the
right?
street. If you
On
walking down the
right
street or something like
right
that,
on
when
right right right
on a, on
right
a, on
right.
a, at an award
I'm,
show,
what I mean, but
her life wasn't threatened. You understand what I'm
no,
saying?
not at all. Her emotions, her feelings were hurt, right? But
Yeah,
right,
that's
she wasn't in
subjective, but
danger.
like,
No, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. So, you know, interesting. Interesting perspective on this one. It's hard to say as to what, but I know he did make that joke, and that joke came right out that Mercury debilitation in Pisces. Right, that was real, right? And that opposition to Mars on the day in which it was said is definitely a strong play on there's a strong play on how it played out. Mars is even as no Mercury is Mercury combust. I think Mercury's combust on that day. Yeah, it is. Right, it is. Right. So,
hmm
interestingly enough, right, these are the things that you look at when you look at this. The sun is in the sun is in the ascendant too. Sun does rule the sixth house of enemies. Does rule the sixth house of enemies. So it could be that that enemy was Will that day. You know, was Will that day, right? In opposition to Mars again, right? Within a few degrees. Well, let's see. Mars at 4 degrees. Sun would have been at 13. So what? 10, almost 9 degrees difference. So a strong enough arc to get the job done. So yeah, it's interesting. Definitely interesting. Ascendant Lord would have been in the 12th house, conjunct Saturn, not by degree, but with Saturn. So, and 12th house it's an interesting thing because again, the 12th house can be you behind the scenes doing something, um, in a way that is clandestine, right? Secret, you know. 12th house is a
either
house
way,
of secret.
it go, this would probably be a fruitful year for
Both of
Chris
them will
Rock.
definitely come on top from this fiasco, right? Jada, on the other hand, I don't know how she's gonna play it out, but um, you know,
Definitely
definitely,
Chris Rock. Chris Rock gonna be lit this year,
yeah. They
and
say his
I'm just
ticket sales have like gone through the roof because of this,
like a
right?
G.
Yeah.
$1,000. It's you know what I mean. You
Yeah,
know,
that's serious business. Yeah.
and then if it's ascendant is Pisces, then
Oh, then right, Jupiter will be right
yeah,
and exact, and that ascendant from until January of next year. Oh, no, April of next year. Excuse me,
April. Yeah,
April of 2023. Yeah. So no doubt, no doubt. So yeah, hey, folks, I'm sure you all have your own perceptions and insights into this. Definitely, share in the comments. Post your thoughts, share with us.